Netanyahu call earlier today was the president told by Prime Minister Netanyahu how he intends to respond to Iran after the October 1 attack. And then secondly, the Prime Minister's office and President Trump have confirmed they spoke last week. Was the White House informed of that call ahead of time, and do you know the contents of that call? And just generally, are you comfortable with that type of conversation happening?
So look, a couple of things. You just asked me a slew of things there. I do want to say, I know there's the rabbi call that the president's going to be doing momentarily. We'll let you know when that happens. I think we're running a little bit behind, and I know that there's going to be an opportunity for all of you all to tune in. Let me just give you a couple of just top lines on the call. It lasted about 30 minutes. It was 30 minutes long. It was direct. It was productive, obviously the call that the president had with the Prime Minister of Israel. They discussed a range of issues, and we are going to have a readout shortly that you all will have to get a better sense of what was discussed on the call, so I'm not going to get ahead of that. I know the team is working through that at this time. So as you all know, the U.S. and the Israeli government have had discussion since last week. Certainly since after the Iran attack. And so those discussions continued with the president and the prime minister. Certainly not going to get into those discussions. There's going to be a readout. Don't have anything else beyond that to share, but I can say that they did have a discussion about that. And it is a continued discussion. It started off with obviously staff level discussion last week, and obviously the two leaders had an opportunity to talk directly. Like I said, it was productive, it was direct, it lasted about 30 minutes. And this is on top of more than a dozen calls that the president and the prime minister have had since October 7th of last year. As it relates to one of your questions there about the book. Look, as you know, there are...
About the Trump conversation
Oh.
last week.
Oh,
Did I ask about the book as well? But
We can come back to the book.
we can come back. There's plenty of questions. I'd like to answer that as well. But particularly about Trump's conversation, I think that's more pertinent to today's.
we'll
call.
say more about the Trump
So
conversation.
Trump spoke with Netanyahu last
I
week.
see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Were you guys aware of it?
Look, I don't. That's something for obviously the Trump team to speak to. I can't speak to that about their conversation. I just don't have anything to add
Well, I guess
beyond
it's
that.
more relevant. Yeah. Are we having like two different, a former administration and the current administration doing foreign policy at the same
look,
time?
as you know, there's one president at a time. That has been the way that we've done this, right, in this country. And so that is what exists. The current president, the President Biden, had a conversation with the Prime Minister. They've had, as I mentioned, more than a dozen conversations since the past year, since October 7th of 2023. And I think what you have seen from this administration is the continued support for Israel's security. You saw that over the past couple of days, obviously since past couple of weeks, when Iran attacked Israel, the president directed his military to protect Israel. He was very proud to be able to do that, and that support continues. They had as I said, a direct, a productive conversation, as they've had for many times. This is, when you think about the president and the prime minister, they've known each other for decades. And so that's what I can speak to. I'm not going to get into the former president and his conversation with world leaders.